So what is DART?
It's actually a self-defense combative designed to be learned with minimal training time. It stands for Defensive Autonomic Response Tactics. DART actually has two components to it. The first is the LEO training, or law enforcement officer training, and the second portion of DART combatives is the combative training. The law enforcement training, or the LEO training, is designed to fill the force continuum gaps between 2 and 5. So if you take a look at the force continuum that exists, the first is officer presence. The second level of continuum is verbal command. The third level of the force continuum is evasion. The fourth level of the continuum is impact or blunt weapon use. And the fifth level is point and bang. That's deadly force. A lot of the LEO training that exists, the law enforcement training that exists today, doesn't exist levels 3 and 4. The space that exists between, hey, I'm an officer, don't do that anymore, and pulling your weapon and actually using deadly force. The problem with the training that exists today for law enforcement officers as they come out of the academy is you really only have a couple of different options. The first option you have is a martial arts option, where you can go and check into a martial arts school at a strip shopping mall or a studio someplace in your town or your city. The problem with that is you're taking 4 to 6 to maybe 8 years to learn any kind of proficiency in that particular martial art. And then the problem with that is trying to filter out what can I actually use on the street, what can I actually not use. Because the reality is that law enforcement officers have a totally different set of rules that they can use versus the citizen who's protecting themselves. The other option that we have is T-close training. At least it's T-close in Texas. In your state, it's probably something different. T-close training is an 8-hour program that officers have to attend once a year in order to keep their certifications intact. That's not a very good option. 8 hours of training once a year just isn't going to get it done for most people. The third option that you have is just street experience. And the problem with that is you can really only be wrong once. The second part of DART combatives is the combatives section. It's a little bit different than the law enforcement training that we offer. The biggest difference is it's combative. It's not designed for a law enforcement officer in the line of duty. It's designed for people who are in the military, who are in combative situations, who are in the public eye or in public service where they're interacting with lots of people all the time. It's also for people who just want combative self-defense. So why do we offer this as an option? Why don't we just stop with the LEO training? Because the world is changing. There's a lot that's going on in the world right now. It's not the same place that it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago, even 10 years ago. A lot of us have families. A lot of us are very concerned about the safety and protection of our families. And my advice always is going to be to run. But what happens when you can't? What happens when you're in the parking lot and you can't run? What happens as a military person and you're in combat, in the line of duty, and you can't run? What do? You want to win.